Believe it or not, it's hard to be as excited as I should be because I lost to a guy that I have a great respect for, and they outcoached us and outplayed us 90% of that game. And we talk about Pikel's team, we talk about ours having toughness, and all the report said is he's got tough kids. They made shots tonight. I mean, they played well. They made shots. They guarded better. We looked like we were in quicksand. We didn't make shots, and we did what cost us. We turned the ball over, and I think we had 10 or 11 at halftime. And second half in the overtime, we only had 5, and we were a different team. We started checking a little bit better, but I hope the better team won, but the better team didn't win tonight, if that makes any sense. I think we got a pretty good team, but tonight they deserve to beat us. And yet, as I've said, whether it be my championship years, other years, there's always a game or two in the season that you have to win when you don't play as well or the opponent plays really well. And that's how you stay above water. And tonight, it almost took a miracle on that last play. And Cohen Carr hits a big 3, and then Devine hit that late one, and then Jeremy took the game over. And Jackson Coop struggled most of the game, and they bounced back at the end. Our rebounding was average early, and it was great at the end. And I just feel very fortunate that we won the game, and yet I feel, that guy's got a lot of freshmen on that team, and he did a hell of a job, man. Give him credit, even if normal media, everybody will figure out how he blew the game, figure out how he really won the game in every way, shape, or form except the score. Questions?
Tom, I was wondering about the performance by Jeremy. Obviously, the 2 fouls in the first half, 2 points at the half, and he finishes with career-high 29. Really seemed to get carry you guys a lot in the second half.
Yeah, and I think Jeremy would be the first to tell you. He said to me after the game, I wasn't very good early. He just wasn't pushing the ball. He wasn't very good, and we talked to him at halftime about it, and at the end we just wanted the ball in his hands. We did in the overtime, went into Jackson a little bit. We were struggling with our offense too, and we found a way to get it in there, and that helped a little bit. But just having the ball in Jeremy's hands, he made some great decisions. The pass to Devine was maybe as good a play as you could make because he had to slither that through to him in the corner. And our defense did get better, but boy, they did some good things too. So I was happy, thrilled for Jeremy because he, Doug Wojcik said it best. The first half he wasn't very good, and we told him he wasn't very good. And in the huddles, he was very good. And that was the first time when he struggled that he really showed some leadership in those huddles, and then sat that whole half. And at halftime, he was still good. So we grew in another way, And Bill Raftery said sometimes those kind of games help you in the long run. I don't think there's any question this will help us in the long run. Unfortunately, it hurt them, and but that team plays hard, boy. If they play that well, they're going to win some games.
I'm wondering about, you mentioned the diminishing of turnovers in that second half, but some of the little things that the guys were doing differently in the second half. It seemed like a couple of those plays that Cooper made with getting boards, and then the Jordan Scott hustle plays in offensive boards. Some of those maybe guys that aren't going to show up necessarily in the stat category, how that helped in that comeback.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you because Coop wasn't very good early. Jax struggled, and yet they got some big rebounds late. I mean, if you remember, they tipped one in late. Coop was right there, and then after that, he really started asserting himself. Like I said, Cohen did some pretty good things that help us win games. We had a lot of guys that helped us to win this game that, as you say, won't show up in the stat sheet. But we got our butts kicked most of that game, guys, and we're going to have to be better if we're going to move forward.
wondering about Divine's shot in the corner there. You mentioned the pass from Jeremy, but for a guy who, I think that was his third three of the game, but a guy who's kind of been up and down a little bit, hit a big shot like that, and then defensively they went, I think, the final 4:40 of the regulation without a field goal, and then extended into overtime and that.
Yeah, I thought we did lock up pretty good, and they struggled a little bit with their offense, which we did most of the night. But it's hard to say that, and the thought of, it doesn't make sense, even though it was overtime. I mean, we scored 88 points. And I say we're struggling with our offense. I mean, we go 8 for 12 from the three, which isn't bad considering Jackson had his worst night. But what really let us down tonight was our defense and those turnovers. And we aren't winning this way. So if anybody wants to ask my guys and they say we are, call me, because we're not winning that way. But I did think, as I said, Cohen made a big three late. He got 8 boards. That was important. He played pretty good D other than going for that one pump fake. I liked the way they played. I really did. I'll just take the win and get the hell out of Dodge, but don't think we deserved it because of the comeback at the end. But they deserve better than what they got.
I'm wondering, one, about Francis's game and the trouble he gave you, but that shot at the end of regulation, as you watched Cohen go up, did you think he was going to try and swat it on its way down? Because it looked like he held back at the last second.
Yeah, I thought he did too, and I didn't really get as clean a look. But I thought he was going to. I think he held back, and, it was there were some tough shots that went in our way and didn't go in their way late, although they hit some shots early, guys. 10 threes isn't what they normally do either. And they made a bunch of them early, and it was just a shot after shot. The kid Zerno, 4 for 8, and he hit some tough ones. So, hey, I can only say that to win championships or to win a lot of games, you got to be good. But then every now and then you got to be lucky. Tonight we'll put that one on lucky side. We were lucky. And can we learn from lucky? Sure. We'll see if we can. We got a quick turnaround now, but we're going to try to learn on the way home on a plane. I'm going to have guys watching film, and when we get home tomorrow, let's move on to Michigan. But we got to learn from this game because there were some things we did early that were not very good.
Got time for a couple more, Jerry?
Tom, what do you think of Tariq Francis and how he stepped up to the Big Ten level this year?
Yeah, I tell you what, there's more than a couple of those guys I really like. Francis did a hell of a job. He's comes off that bench. He reminds me of a kid I had, Morris Peterson, when I won it. I brought him off the bench, and it's just kind of instant offense. He's tough. He made free throws. He made shots. He didn't turn the ball over, too much. I mean, he had it in his hands. What did he have? 0 turnovers. So what do I think of him? I think a lot of them. I think he's playing for a good coach, too, he did a hell of a job, guys. It's not easy to have their record, and we're coming in, and we're not the best team in the world, but we're a pretty solid team. And so, give Steve Peichel credit, too, along with Francis.
Tom, I was wondering about Jeremy, obviously, with the foul trouble, how he was able to stay in the game with 4 fouls. And I think overtime, him and Divine both had 4 fouls, and it kind of made it a little dicey, I would assume.
Yeah, Wojcik had a little fun kind of moving those guys around. But I think Jeremy, he didn't play real smart early. He got 2 fouls and 2 turnovers that were just not good. And what I really liked, though, is when the game ended and we walked over to the cameras, that's the first thing he said to me. And that means there's growth. And if I get growth, we'll get better. If we get better, we can maybe become a really, really good team.
Sure. What do you think of the idea, and you referenced this, of Steve playing 4 freshmen in this day and age in the sport?
Love it. I absolutely love it. And if he keeps those 4 freshmen, they'll be like Jackson Kohler and Cooper and Jeremy and Cohen, and That's what makes great teams, you know. So I'm going to publicly tell those kids, stay put. Got a good coach. Fans were awesome tonight. And that team is going to get better because we had a veteran team and they had a rookie team, and those rookies played their tail off.
Got time for one more.
Rutgers went small down the stretch of that game. They put Darren Buchanan at the big spot. I guess how did that kind of affect a lot of your actions towards the basket, whether it was with Jackson or Carson or Jeremy getting downhill?
Yeah, it created some problems for us with Jackson and Carson because of their lineup. You know, they drove the ball on us. They got to the free throw line, too. I don't know how many times they got there. Let me look here. 23. But we had some mismatches. Now, they had mismatches the other way, and we didn't exploit some of those early, which is my fault. But I thought the overtime, I thought we did, and it hurt them a little bit. But I thought it was a brilliant move, the way he played those guys and the way they ran things. And, yeah, I was really impressed, to be honest.
Anything else? Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for coming in.
See you guys.
Thank you.